Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. You are here on MFSN The Hub, and this is the Q&A with Dr. Dan Ratner. And here I am wearing my Jobu's Rum t-shirt. I'm also on Instagram for the first time on the Q&A. This is very, very exciting, at least for me. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. And I'd be happy to argue fantasy sports with you and just sports in general. I love talking sports, and I have to say, it's been great to return to the world of sports after all of this time being a therapist in a room talking about feelings. Now I can talk about sports and not worry about anybody's feelings, just for a little bit. Now, Party Marty has joined us on Instagram. Party Marty, you should come on the show, say a quick hello, because 810 Pro Wrestling is telling us on the YouTube chat, when is the return of Party Marty? Party Marty says, hey, how's it going? Well, listen, it's going great. And if you want the return of Party Marty, it's really up to Marty. You can come on if you want to come on, if you're Marty or not. You go to three W's, not four, www.callmfsn.com. And you can come on video or audio, and you can come on whether you're Marty or not. I see you, official Bad News Vaughn. Welcome. It's good to see you, and I'm doing well. So we've got a couple things that are on my mind, and you guys probably know this if you've watched the Q&A before. Send a request. How do I send a request? I think you need to go on through YouTube, Marty. You're connected through Instagram, or you just go to the website. That's how it should work. Yes, www.callmfsn.com. That's my request. I've sent a request. There you go. Now, we're going to look at a couple things. Today, I do want to talk a little bit of NBA playoffs. And I definitely want to talk, send a request on Instagram Live right there. I don't think that would work, Marty, in our current system because we're not running mainly through Instagram. But I will let you know if I get some technical advice that we can do that. I apologize for the inconvenience. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the NBA playoffs. Then I'm going to get to fantasy sports because I need to make a trade for a hitter in a bad way. Thank you for your willingness to come on, Marty. I appreciate it, and I miss you. I haven't seen you since I won the hockey championship, and I want you to give me a virtual hug for that. And I know that Ross the Boss wants acknowledgement that he came in second, and he did, and it was quite a battle, and I give him credit. But the rookie won. Yes. It's very bad to steal Jobu's rum. Okay, in the basketball playoffs, here's what we have going on. I'm sure many of you are following this, but the Celtics are in trouble against the Nets. That's not a surprise. They're down 3-1. The Trailblazers and the Nuggets have this great series going. It's 2-2, and that's a series I would love to watch more of, and I'm going to work at it. Now, the Clippers Mavs that's like the best TV because Luka is going wild, but the Clippers, it's time to prove it. This is a prove it year. They've got to show that they are the real deal. I called the Clippers to win the entire thing. I'm talking to you, Kawhi, and I know you barely respond because you say things like, I'm a phone guy. I love to imitate Kawhi Leonard, especially that, and that was for my nephew, G, who showed me that. I see we've got Party Marty on YouTube now. Come on, Marty. Come on, and we'll talk. So the Clippers, Mavericks, either one of those teams that could come out of there could win it all. And the Lakers, meanwhile, they're tied 2-2. They're going into Game 5, and Anthony Davis is potentially out for the game. Marty, to join, you got to listen here. Go on your web browser to www.callmfsn.com. And that's it. Then they will let you in, and then I'll talk to you. I promise. That'd be really weird if I didn't, wouldn't it? Okay, so the Lakers and Suns tied 2-2. The unibrow, he may have pulled a groin, is what I'm hearing. I think he may have pulled an eyebrow. He only has one eyebrow to pull. But, the Lakers-Suns, that is a big-time series. And it was going to be a big-time series whether Anthony Davis was out or not. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, who I picked to win the East, I think they're going to beat the Nets because the Nets have no defense. Official Bad News Vaughn is saying we have the same problem with Marty on the podcast. LOL. Marty, we all know you and love you. Better have your ICBs, Irish car bombs, is what the Fantasy Sports Network is saying. That's not me. I have no control over that. The Wizards did win a game after going down 3-0. Philadelphia, well in the lead in that series. I think they're easily going to take it. And the Jazz leading the Grizzlies 3-1. I think Ross the Boss said that with Donovan Mitchell out, the Jazz weren't going to be able to handle it. The Jazz have been underestimated all year. And I like to, on MFSN, especially when I'm on Run It Back with Sully, I talk about the fact that I don't like the teams not getting the respect they deserve. The Jazz led from wire to wire. Yes, they have some things to prove, but the fact is they are a really good team, and they should be title contenders. I would love to see them win the title. All right, we're now going to go to fantasy baseball because this is what I'm really working on. When it, this is my personal work. Jobu's Rum. Now, note, I did spell the name different than it's spelled on the shirt. But as we all know, what are the chances that the shirt company and the movie got it wrong and I got it right? It's pretty high, I think, right? No? Oh, well, fine, whatever. I'm sticking to Jobu's Rum with the 2 O's. This team has won the championship 6 times since 2006, but we have not won the championship since 2013, I think. It's been rough. It's been a rough go of it. This is a keeper league, and I'm going to check out both of my leagues. What are these stat corrections? Look at this. Now, did we get good stat corrections or not? When you see a stat correction, you click on it. Take a look. Tyler Naquin. Oh, this is going to show me all the stat corrections at once. And I'm going through, and so it's showing other players too. A lot of stat corrections in Cincinnati for some reason. Brad Hand, playing on my arch rival. Yes, he got 1 hit, 3 outs. Oh, no, he got a save. I didn't want to see that. That's a bad stat correction. Come on, give me good stat corrections. Well, anyways, stat corrections feel to me like they always go the other way. Let's see. What's happening here? Oh, this must have been a delayed game. That's why there's so many stat corrections. Wow, there's a lot. Now, I want to say something about Juan Soto. Juan Soto. Now, listen. If our chat room MVP, Sam Jacobowitz, is here, you had a very strong argument that Juan Soto was underrated by me and that he should have been above Ronald Acuna and Mike Trout. And as a result, I did consider your words. And I actually had them in my head. And I thought, you know what? I'll give Juan Soto a chance. And Marty, I will be right with you. I just want to finish up this one thought.
Okay.
Juan Soto. Hold on, Marty. Oh, you're here with me. Okay, I'll get back to Juan Soto. I don't want to ignore guests when they're here. That's very, very unwelcoming host behavior. Marty, come on in. Come join me.
Okay, I'm in.
How are you?
Good. You?
I'm good. It's been a while.
I know. It's been a while. How have you been? Congratulations on winning the hockey pool.
Thank you. What do you so are you only on audio or are you coming on video?
Oh, how the heck does
that... they say you're coming on video. You don't need to do anything. Don't start pressing buttons or it'll get really bad. Okay, so we'll just talk audio until you're on.
Okay.
What do you think about the fact that I did come in as a rookie manager and won the league?
Well, you did good. I congratulate for you that you did your research. I tell you, you did your research.
I did, and I put in a lot of effort. I have to say, I wanted to win that league bad.
Yeah.
I love to come into a new league and prove. There's Marty.
Hey.
There he is. All right, we have a lot of fans out there who ask when Marty's coming on.
Yep.
And some people are calling for Irish car bombs. I am a therapist. I will not push that.
Yeah.
I will not judge it.
Yeah.
But I will not push it. So
well, I do have a Bailey shot, but I don't got no Irish car bomb. I got a Bailey shot.
Hey, listen, you do you. Yeah. You worked hard today. You can do whatever you want. So tell me what's going on in the hockey playoffs. Let's do that. I just talked about basketball playoffs. We're going to talk about hockey playoffs for a little bit. Then I'm going to talk about fantasy baseball, which I think is not your thing, right?
Well, not really, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, are you a baseball fan?
No, not really. I did my first pool, but I haven't been paying attention. I'm like 10th place. I'm dead last.
Yep. You gotta, you know what? To win a fantasy sports game, you have to have the determination. You have to have the will.
I thought I was drafting players at the time I was doing on the draft, and I guess I was drafting another group too. So I drafted with other people, not my friends. And my friend's like, "You don't got no Blue Jays on your team." I'm like, "Yes, I do." But it was not my friend's pool I was drafting. So I got all these random players that picked for me. Like all the auto draft picked all my players. So I didn't get no Toronto players.
Oh yeah, listen, it's hard to be involved when you auto draft. So people out there, don't listen. Yeah. This is just a piece of advice. This is Marty. This is from me and Marty to you. Okay. When you're drafting a team, show up at the draft. And the reason why is you want to be invested in it. These are going to be your players for the whole year. Marty was there. He showed up with there was some kind of technical issue.
Yeah.
When people kept telling you to come to www.callmfsn.com, and it got all confusing. We didn't know where to send you, but you're here. You made it. You had showed determination.
Yeah.
Marty, who's going to win the NHL playoffs?
Well,
who's going to win the Stanley Cup?
My team I picked already went kapooey 4 straight, the Edmonton Oilers, but I think Colorado has a good chance. I'd like to see the Islanders do something, or Carolina, or maybe Tampa Bay again. But I love Mark Stone, but Vegas too new. But maybe Vegas too, but no Boston.
Vegas almost won it earlier. They're older now.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this. So how do you pick who you think is going to win? Is it the hot goalie? What do you do?
You look at the team, you look at the goalie, you look at the players who's doing really good. I think Colorado is doing amazing right now. They got Nathan McKinnon, they got the captain. They got their captain. They're doing amazing.
Yeah. Now, you said the Islanders. I'm very interested in this. When was the last time? When did they win a cup last?
I don't know. I forget. I'm not too sure. Long time ago.
I think we need to Google this. While we're talking this, I'm going to Google. Okay, Islanders. Okay,
I'll take a shot.
Stanley Cup.
The fans.
And okay, you take the shot. And meanwhile,
this was for Montreal's Game 7 win. I can't believe Toronto was up 3-1.
And now they're tied 1-1 with Boston. Is that right?
Who the Islanders? Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm going to get the... Yes, this is what I remembered. I thought that the Islanders were very good in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Now, Marty, how old were you in the 80s? You were probably -4.
I was born 1984.
You were born in 1984. Okay, now this is a very interesting fact, guys. Get ready for this. The Islanders won the Stanley Cup 4 times. 1980, 1981, 1982, 1983. Marty's born. Never again.
Yeah.
Marty, is this coincidence?
I don't know. The Islanders might take it, maybe. Hopefully they can work on it.
That's a pretty weird stat that I just found. Okay, I want to say hi to a couple people who joined on Instagram, and they may be friends of yours. Do you know Bluefy Mike Berry 4? Or do you know Official Nasty Leroy? That's a great name.
Yes, Nasty Leroy. He's a professional wrestler. We want him to get signed by Elite Wrestling soon. So if Tony Khan's hearing this, I want them to sign the Nasty Leroy. He's a great wrestler. He's a good friend, and he's a good guy.
All right. Well, welcome, Nasty Leroy. I don't care what you say about yourself. You don't sound nasty to me. And Bluefy Mike Berry, is this a friend of yours?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
Official bad news. Vaughn says, "I blame Marty." Are you blaming him for not signing yet?
What are you blaming me for?
I don't know. I think he's blaming you kind of indiscriminately. I think he just wanted to blame you.
Yeah.
It was like the next words out of his mouth were going to be, "I blame Marty anyway."
Oh, he blames me for a couple things.
So Marty, if you had to pick one, is it Colorado that's going to win the whole thing?
I say Colorado. I want Colorado to win the whole thing. But I want a Canadian team too, but Colorado, but I don't think Winnipeg and Montreal get that far.
All right, now listen. Ross the Boss has just joined on YouTube. He has a question, And I'm going to let you help us answer this question, Marty. Then I'm going to let you go because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
You worked hard today.
Yeah.
This is a question that could reveal that you don't know anything about fantasy baseball. It's possible.
Okay.
He got offered Tony Gonsolin for Eddie Rosario. Do you know who these players are? Let's start there. Be honest. It's totally fine.
I don't know, but I think I'm going to go with Eddie. He's going to be the better baseball player. He's a better baseball player, if I had to guess.
That's not a bad guess, actually. Listen, if you were offered Tony Gonsolin for Eddie Rosario, so I would say no. Let's not do that. Marty and I have decided Eddie Rosario is the way to go, and you heard it here first. You're getting expertise not only from me, but from Party Marty. Party Marty, by the way, for the people who don't know, he is one of our hockey specialists. Me, him, and Ross, we sat down, we talked about hockey. I had to reorient myself entirely to hockey. Do you remember, Marty? I came on, and I thought that the Red Wings were the best team, and the Red Wings are terrible.
Yeah.
That's how long I'd been. It was like
Buffalo's
a coma.
terrible, too.
Oh, I see. I blame Party Marty, the team, to not win in 1984. Yes, official bad news, Vaughn. So did I, because I noticed the same thing.
Whoa.
I can't believe it. Marty's born, and the Islanders never won again.
They will win it one time again. They will win it soon.
I mean, I could say that I could blame myself for the Browns never winning again. They won in 1964, and then I was born in 1974. But they had 10 years of not winning before me, so I'm not taking that blame.
No,
Marty, I want to thank you for joining us. Would you come on again, maybe next week?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here, by the way. Have you met Casey? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Okay, Casey is one of our other hosts, and I don't think you've met him. I would love to see you and Casey meet on the show.
Okay.
That would be hilarious.
I will go one day for sure.
All right, join us. Hey,
we got to do our hockey pool again next season too. I'm down for it. You better be.
No, we definitely do, and
You're
I think
defending
we
that
got. What's that?
You're
I'm defending
your
that
hockey
title.
title.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. No.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll see, and we know Marty's not to blame for me not winning championships because I just did.
Yeah.
So, good job, Marty. You're my luck charm.
Nice talking to you guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Marty. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right, we've got a couple other questions coming in from YouTube. Who should I drop to acquire Pete Alonso? Whoa, what league are you playing that Pete Alonso was dropped? Catcher Will Smith or Lowe? Now, are you talking about Nate Lowe, the first base? I think that's the case. Listen, drop Lowe. First of all, don't drop a catcher of the level of Will Smith. He is the Fresh Prince. I'm kidding. That's the wrong Will Smith. There's a lot of Will Smiths out there, but the Fresh Prince is the best one. But the catcher Will Smith is not far behind. I just traded for him, actually. I traded Luis Robert for Will Smith and Taylor Rogers because I wanted to lock up a closer spot. And Luis Robert, even though it's a keeper league, I just knew that I needed to make a move. I was fading. We got a lot of great questions coming in. One of the questions is, who is the best catcher in fantasy? The best catcher in fantasy is Salvador Perez, as far as I'm concerned. He is super reliable, great batting average, hits for tons of power, and stays healthy all at the same time. That's pretty good. He gets dinged up like any catcher, but he's the best. I'd be curious to know, who do you think is the best catcher out there? If you want to tell me, you can either put it in the comments later or you can put it in the comments now. I don't care because I operate both now and later. That's how I roll. Let's get some other questions here. Sixto Sanchez is coming back for Miami. Pick him up. Yes, Sixto Sanchez is the kind of guy who can make a big difference to your fantasy team. Listen, if you're playing in like an 8-team league, maybe you don't. But if you're playing in 10 or 12-team leagues, especially 12, pick up Sixto Sanchez. He should not be on anybody's waiver wire. Drop Blake Snell. Okay, now recently, and I'm going to give Ross the Boss some credit here. Ross the Boss brought up this interesting question, which I think we're going to cover more tomorrow on our waiver wire show, which, by the way, is Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, or 11 a.m. Hawaii time. I'll keep doing all the math for you if you like. I can just go all the way around the world, although I don't totally know my time zones super well. And then I don't understand why some are like 11:30, like in Sri Lanka. That I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so I got totally sidetracked by my own joke. Okay, here's the thing. Ross the Boss talked about superstars that are massively underperforming. You know, guys like Luis Castillo. Is he a superstar? No, he's not a superstar, but he's a frontline starter, and he's been so bad that it's time to cut him. You don't just try to trade him. It's time to cut Luis Castillo. Look, you could try to trade him, but what are you really going to get for him? The chances are you can get something better on the wire than what anybody's going to give for you. And meanwhile, they'll be insulted by the offer because implied in this is you're buying this steaming pile of garbage. I believe that you think this is good. Don't offer Luis Castillo. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do it to other people. Okay, so drop Blake Snell. I'm not ready to drop Blake Snell. Blake Snell is at a different level than Luis Castillo. However, am I optimistic that he's going to be good? No. I think if you can sell him for 30% of his value, but it's better than the waiver wire, I think you do it. Another question about another underperforming guy. Dylan Bundy was cut in my league. Pick him up. Great question. I'm thinking that Dylan Bundy probably is worth a pickup depending on your situation. Listen, if you've built your bench out really well, then the fact is you're not going to need a guy like Dylan Bundy. But if you've got, a roster spot to spare, then you could do a lot worse than Dylan Bundy. He's had 3 bad starts in a row, but before that he was quite solid. I'm worried about him. And one thing I would check on is his velocity down. If his velocity is down, or if there's some kind of injury in the works, then maybe you don't pick him up. But it's worth finding out on a guy like Dylan Bundy. I would pick him up if you're not happy with your bench, pick up Dylan Bundy. If you're happy with your bench, I'd leave it alone. Logan Gilbert, worth a stash in dynasty leagues. Oh my goodness. Now, this question has a lot in it. So let's leave it up there. That's something I do on my crushing doubt side of things. Leave that question up there, even though it's a really short question, because I want to know. I want to say a lot of things about it. Logan Gilbert is not only worth a stash in dynasty leagues, but this question actually suggests that this person is not in dynasty leagues, because any dynasty league owner would own, any dynasty league has Logan Gilbert 100% owned. He's that good. So the question really is Logan Gilbert worth a stash in redraft leagues? Because he's even worth a stash in keeper leagues. The guy, if he starts to turn it around, he can become a frontline ace right away. I want to say hi to Brian Ritchie 123. I see you on Instagram. Just wanted to say hi. So Logan Gilbert is worth a stash in any format where you might get to keep him. The question is he useful in redraft leagues? Now that brings us to another question, which is what do you do with Marcel Ozuna in redraft leagues? Well, unfortunately, listen, I don't know the whole story, so I don't like to presume anything before I know the whole story, but I will just update people who don't know. Marcel Ozuna was accused, I think he was actually arrested for domestic violence. This guy's probably going to jail. I don't know that we are going to see him again, but again, innocent until proven guilty. I don't know. I just know from a fantasy perspective, I'm not happy about owning Ozuna right now. So what do you do with him? I think you trade him for 30 cents on the dollar if you can. He's going to be out for several months. And listen, I'm always going to play the other side. If you are looking to buy Ozuna and you've got a bad bench, I think it's worth paying 30 cents on the dollar for him. Because if he does come back, he could be a beast for 2 months, or maybe he gets let off and this was all a misunderstanding and you suddenly got yourself a bargain. I think it's high risk enough that you sell him for 30 cents on the dollar. And listen, if nobody's buying, I think you can cut him if there's value on your wire, especially if you're playing in thinner leagues. By thinner, I mean 10 or under. 12 league. A 12-team league is not a thin league at all. Yu Darvish for Cody Bellinger and Ryu. I love trade questions. Yu Darvish for Cody Bellinger and Ryu. I assume we're talking redraft leagues. By the way, I'm always assuming a redraft league when it's a question that doesn't specify otherwise, because most leagues are redraft leagues. It really depends on what you think of Cody Bellinger for the rest of the year. In keeper and dynasty leagues, that it's a deal that would make you laugh because Cody Bellinger is clearly the most valuable by far, and you take it right away. But in a redraft league, it depends on what you think you're going to get with Cody Bellinger. It also depends on your needs. When you're assessing trades, figure out what you need. Do you need a first baseman? Because Cody Bellinger is most valuable in first base. But sometimes you really need the outfielder. And Ryu, meanwhile, is a very good pitcher. Interesting that they're trading Korean pitchers, I believe. But Cody Bellinger is not Korean to my knowledge. So I don't know which side you're looking for. You, Darvish, for Cody Bellinger and Ryu. I think it's a reasonable trade. But if I had to pick a side, I would definitely pick the Cody Bellinger Ryu side. I think I never trusted you, Darvish, that much, even though he's been great. All right, need a reliever. Opinion on Romano, not Greg. I like that. Okay, Greg Romano is our producer. And the funny thing is, Greg used to be completely good at baseball. He was dominant. They called him, what was it? Something related to Babe Ruth. I mean, he was like really good, and he was huge for his age. Then a football injury took him down. Football. Always injuring people. Stop it. Speaking of which, I just had a discussion with somebody about the shoulder pads from the 1980s. If you look back at them, it's incredible. They look like they are like the Fox robot. It's like they're like twice as wide as the rest of the body. You're turning around like, I'm wearing these shoulder pads. People maybe didn't get hurt as much because they could barely move. Maybe we should try doing that. We should do slow speed football, and then people wouldn't get hurt anymore. I mean, like, suppose some people play slow speed football when they're just like sitting down, but they don't get injured that way. Although, interestingly, a lot of people claim they do, and then they need to come over to my pain podcast because, no, you didn't get injured that way. I promise you. So anyways, wow, that was a long tangent on Romano. I'll get back to need a reliever opinion on Jordan Romano, I assume is who we're talking about, the Blue Jays reliever. I always expected him to overtake the other guys again and keep the closer role. If he stays healthy, I think he got it for the year, and I think you stay with it. He's a very valuable reliever, and if somebody's not valuing him appropriately, go ahead and buy. Buy on Jordan Romano. Buy on Greg Romano, too. He's a great producer, among many other things. Okay, Segura. Gene Segura or Suarez for the rest of the year. Pick one. That's a very easy one for me. I pick Suarez. Suarez always has a bad April. He had a bad May, too. But I don't care. Suarez is going to hit 30 homers from here on out. That is my prediction. 30 homers in 4 months. And speaking of which, Ross the Boss, you are a Suarez owner, and I'm obviously speaking to you straight. I'm not trying to hide my motivation, like, oh, I'll secretly try to get Suarez. I'll pay you full price for a 30-homer Suarez. But you're going to have to take it down. Maybe I said I'd pay full price, and no, I'm not going to. What am I talking about? I will pay 90%. Okay, 90%. But you got to come down a little bit because there is some risk, because sometimes players, they suck, and they continue to suck. I don't think it's going to happen with Suarez. Segura is, he's kind of, at this point, I think you could find him in a lot of waiver wires. Wow. Okay, now, let's get back to what I was looking at, which was these stat corrections. I needed to know. Let's pull that up, can we? I want to pull up the visual. All right, when we have a chance. Oh, wow, look. So Tyler Naquin, he went 1 for 2, and I now got that 500 average. And Hansel Robles, let's see what happened. He got charged with a hit that he didn't have before. I don't like that at all. Let's see, is there anything else in here for me? Jose Altuve. I have Altuve this year. He got a hit. That's going to help me. I never know when these get assigned. Frankie Montas got a hit. See, it's funny. I think my hitter got a hit off my own pitcher.
All your information about your credit card is saved. You spend whatever you want. You shop however you want. We'll get a percentage of what you guys spend, and then we'll donate.
Not worried, and I will tell you why. Let's go to the standings. All right. Yes, I'm in 9th place with only 56.5 points, but my team has not been hitting. I don't know what it is, aside from the fact, well, I do know what it is. Mike Trout got injured, Luis Robert got injured, and Francisco Lindor has been one of the worst players in baseball, which I did predict he'd be a bust, but I never thought he would be this much of a bust for this long. However, he has a low BABIP. That's something we talk about all the time. This is our stat in fantasy baseball about whether batters are getting lucky. So if you have a low BABIP, it means that you are getting unlucky. Francisco Lindor has been unlucky, but he's also been bad. So I've got those problems. And what it's leading to, I'm only 1.5 ahead of Ross the Boss. And Ross the Boss, while he's a good fantasy player, he inherited a new keeper team this year. And it's been hard on him. I mean, as it would be with anybody. He's kind of in a rebuilding phase. I am not, however. Now, however, look at this. The league leader is only at 79.5 points. This is what I love to see in a league. This is a very competitive league. Okay? You've got the leader has 79.5 points. You've got only 4 players in the 70s. You've got my nemesis, Andrew, at 69.5. Simon at 69.5. Finally coming up. He's been fighting through some rough years. He had a rebuild like a couple of years ago, and he's doing well now. And last year's champion, Lauren Auerbach, who you may know from earlier days in MFSN, at 69. And, then we've got Matt at 67, Matt Singer. Shout out to you. You're having a pretty good year. Here's the thing. I am only 23 points out of first place. Now, let's look at where I can get those points. Okay, we go to the full standings. I can get 23 points easily. I shouldn't say easily, but it's certainly possible. I got to make some changes, though. So the first thing I did is I dealt Luis Robert for another closer, Taylor Rogers. I had Hansel Robles, but I wanted to make sure to lock that spot up, and I think Taylor Rogers was the better bet for the closing gig anyway. So I snagged that, turned Luis Robert, who's basically going to be worthless to me for at least 2 months, if not the whole season. And I lose him as a keeper, but I gain Will Smith, who's going to help me with average and production across the board. And the reason I had to do that, Travis d'Arnaud also went down with an injury. I've had a rough year in injuries. A lot of people say that. I only say it when it's true, because I hate when people are like, it's a rough year for injuries all the time, when it's not. You know, your words lose meaning if you're always saying the same thing, no matter what's happening. Nobody then cares what you have to say. So you won't hear me saying all the time, oh my God, I'm injured all the time. But now here's a problem I have. I've actually played a lot of hitters. I just am playing them because every year I get to the end of the year and I have not played all of my positions enough. And I decided I'm not going to do that this year. So I played a bunch of them. The problem? They were slumping. So I played a lot of players who were playing badly, and it didn't actually pan out that well. Sometimes that's going to happen, but I will get to the end of the year, and I will have met all of my hitter requirements. I won't have wasted games, at least. Now, I'm only 3 behind Ross the Boss in runs, but I probably, can I move up more? Absolutely. I mean, I'm only 30 away from... Actually, I can't move up that much. Let's say I moved up 40 runs, which could happen if you have a good run. If that happens, I jump all the way to third. Okay, if I jump all the way to third, that's 5 points right there out of 23. Now I only need 18. But that's a tall order, so I'm going to try to be realistic. I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to move up 40 runs, but I can surpass Ross the Boss, and I think I can catch maybe these next 2 guys, let's say. So let's say I can get 3 out of runs. Okay, remember, I only need 23. I'm going to home runs. Home runs. I had been in a total home run drought. Home runs can pile up fast. I'm at 63. It would be pretty easy to jump, let's say, 20. I could gain 5 points in that at least. If I do that, then we've got 8 points out of 23, and we're only 2 categories in. And now, I understand I'm going to need better players, but Trout's coming back. Lindor is going to start playing better, and I'm still going to make a deal, either a closer or Zach Gallen, probably, some starting pitcher, for a hitter. I need hitting help. Actually, let's take a look at that. Let's just take a look at how I'm doing. In the hitting department, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5. That's not getting it done. In the pitching department, 6.5, 8, 7, 8, 7. I'm doing a lot better in pitching, and let's look at the specific numbers. Okay? Now, in wins, there's Joe Boozrum. In wins, I'm at 28, but look how few innings I've thrown. So I'm going to gain on all these players, in all likelihood. I mean, if math just evens out at all, I'm going to gain 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. I could finish at the top in wins if this run continues. Some of wins are luck. It is the most luck-based of the categories in fantasy baseball. And remember, this is rotisserie. We can talk head-to-head. I'm going to talk about that next time I'm on. But I should be able to move up a good 4 or 5 points right there, just in wins. Now, how about saves? Saves you don't tend to pick up from innings. You tend to pick up from having extra closers. Well, I did just land Greg Holland, so I now have 4 closers. That's almost sounded like 4 closes. But 4 closers, I could move up 2 spots probably at most. But the best part is I can cement behind me this guy at 25, Degrominators. He happens to be the number 1 team right now. So keeping him down in a category is a big deal. If I keep him down and I move up, then it's a 2-point swing. If I go below him, 2-point swing. So I'm going to lock him off there in all likelihood with my 4 closers. Now, here's another place I can do some nice gains. The strikeout rate. Okay, now look. I'm over 100 strikeouts above my innings pitched. That's a very good rate. If you look at the guy ahead of me, he's pitched 59 more innings, and he has 11 more strikeouts. I'm going to pass him like a parked car. That is not a problem at all. You move to the next one. This guy's only 75 over in strikeouts. I will probably pass him. The next guy is 123 over, so he's actually ahead of me. Am I going to pass him? Almost certainly not. That is Degrominators again. Here's another one. This guy is 100 over. I think that's actually... Oh, that's okay, Johnny. That's a total toss-up. Will I pass him? I don't know. But what I can do is manipulate the strikeout issue. So let's say I get to the end of the year and I need big-time strikeouts. Well, I can pick up a bad pitcher who strikes out a lot, or maybe some middle relievers, and I could actually surpass him. This guy at the top, 540 innings pitched, 612 strikeouts. I'm well ahead of his pace. So right now, I stand to gain 1, 2, not that one. And if it's a toss-up, I'm not counting it. But I've got 3 right there. With wins and strikeouts, I'm moving up 8 already. That's the thing about pitching. If I can get good hitting, I actually have a very good shot at winning this league, even though I'm currently in 9th place. The question now is the hitting. Let's go there and take a look, and we'll finish up on this. This is just how I assess my team. You know, I'm gonna go take a look and see where are my weak spots on this team. Pitching is not it. My pitching numbers are good. I have a 3.24 ERA, a 1.08 WHIP. Those are good numbers. Those are good enough to win, especially because I can move up with more innings pitched. But it's in my hitting, especially in May. I was actually very solid in April. I was in like 4th place. I dropped down because the injuries happened and my hitters were just downright bad. So, is that me making a faulty assessment of players? It's very possible. I'm not saying it's all luck based. Okay, if I look at the last 30 days, you're going to see some ugly numbers. Because remember I said May was really bad for me? We'll take a look at this. All right. In May, Jose Altuve was great. And who else was great? Chris Taylor was great. The rest of my numbers are horrible. Horrible. First of all, Will Smith was not on my team. So him being the 221st best hitter as a catcher is pretty good. He had a 303 average. None of that was mine. Almost none of it. So, of course, that doesn't count. Jared Walsh, he did pretty well, actually. I'll give him some credit. But, he wasn't that good. He only had 11 runs, so that's not that good. 260 average, shockingly, is way above league average. This is just something to note. You got to adjust your eyes to the batting averages now. League average is like 238 or something. It's pathetic. And I'm sorry, but I don't like that kind of baseball. You guys, stop swinging for the fences about everything and start hitting the ball well. Get on base. It's called baseball, not called home run ball. Grumpy old man alert here. Eduardo Escobar has been solid enough. 114 overall. Here's the problem. I sat him for a game where he hit 2 homers and had 7 RBIs. I almost never sit him, and that happened. It's going to happen to you all at various points, but those stats could help me a lot. In fact, I'll go to RBIs and show you how much it would help if I had those numbers. Brian Reynolds wasn't on my team. He's hitting solidly enough, but I picked him up mostly for average. And as an injury replacement, Tyler Naquin, most of his great numbers were early in the season. I don't even know how much to trust him, but I'm hanging on to him for now. I picked up Pavin Smith recently. So he's 153. That wasn't even on my team. He's got a nice 302 average, 17 runs scored. He's not producing that much, so I don't know what to expect from him. He's a good backup first baseman. Justin Turner has had a dismal month of May. 7 RBIs and a 211 average for Justin Turner is terrible. He's not hitting right now. Francisco Lindor, first of all, I benched him for most of the time. This is an upgrade on what he was giving. He's ranked 242nd overall, a 211 batting average, only 8 RBIs, 3 homers, 4 stolen bases, and only 13 runs for Francisco Lindor. Not a particularly good time. Nate Lowe also completely flagging. 6 RBIs in the month of May. 6 and a 219 average. So he's riding the bench. Dylan Moore got hurt. Mike Trout got hurt. Luis Robert got hurt and dealt. Travis Arnaud out for the season. Cut him. So I've got some things to make up. My catcher now I'm comfortable with. My first base I'm comfortable with. Jose Altuve at second I'm comfortable with. Eduardo Escobar, fine. That's fine at third base. I can play Chris Taylor at shortstop until Lindor starts hitting, if and when he starts hitting. If not, I move him to the outfield. That means I've got 4 spots that are not playing all that well right now. What I need to do is deal for 2 hitters using a pitcher. If I do that, I'm seriously in good shape to win this league. It may not look like it, but we're going to see how that turns out. I will keep tracking this throughout the year. Now, one last thing, I'm going to go to see what those 2 home runs and 7 RBIs would have done for me in the standings, and then we'll wrap it up for today unless there are further questions. All right, I'm going to it now. We're looking at the standings. Let's go back to full standings. That's current standings. I want full standings. I want the whole thing. I want it all. All right. Oh, wow. I don't want live standings. Don't tell me live standings. It's just taking computer space. Just tell me the numbers from yesterday. Thank you. We'll go to RBIs. This is where it really would matter. 7 extra RBIs in 1 game. By the way, Chris Taylor hit a home run and 4 RBIs last night. If I had those RBIs, I'd have 11. Now, of course, there's always if. You can't count on everything because you got some good luck too. If I had those differences, though, let's just say 7 RBIs. I'm up to 236. I'm only 9 behind one guy, and I'm separating from the guys behind me. There are people chasing me down. I could be in second to last place. Those 7 RBIs really would have helped. Anyways, I've learned to have a short memory. I used to lament these things and be like, oh, I got to debate these things so much. Don't think that way. Generally, it comes out in the wash. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'll get lucky somehow at a later point. So, guys, that's my Q&A for today. It was fun talking baseball, hockey with Party Marty, Keeper League baseball, and I'm going to do a redraft head-to-head league the next time I'm on. I'm going to focus on that one. I made some big trades in that. I've traded Juan Soto because if I could have said, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, I would have. And here's why. Because I drafted him so highly, and I took a chance on him when I knew I should have taken Acuna instead, and I was mad at myself. But I dealt him for Walsh and Lance Lynn. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Thank you, Juan Soto. I know you're a good young player. I will probably never own you again. That's the way it goes in fantasy. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. Let's have a fantasy argument. I love it. I want to do it. And meanwhile, I helped win somebody's league. Anthony Jones, shout out to you again. I can help you in other leagues. I'm telling you, I'm good at analyzing the numbers. I was always good at math. Thanks for watching, everybody. I look forward to seeing you soon. Next week, I believe, is Casey Scheinvold, unless the schedule alters, but I will see you soon. We're usually on every 3 weeks between me, Ross, and Casey. You're getting it all. Thanks for watching.
Oh, look, coming down the runway is Kill Cliff, the clean energy drink. It's in a brand new can. Oh, look how the colors pop. Boom. Boom. Oh, beautiful tan. The front, the back. Gorgeous. Oh, and the flavor. It's still the same awesome taste. I want it in my mouth right now. Oh, so sexy. Go to killcliff.com. Oh, do it now.